Hello friends, welcome to Fun to Tester. In this session we are going to discuss very important topic which is parsing dynamic JSON file. So in most of the interview we are seeing this kind of questions. They are asking how to parse dynamic JSON or how to parse nested JSONs. So here I am having few different types of JSON. So this is my first JSON which is having starting with the JSON object followed by JSON array, and inside we have again JSON object, again JSON object. So this is, it is starting with the first JSON object followed by in data I have different JSON array. Inside again I have JSON object. So see, here inside this array I have two JSON object. Inside this JSON object I am having JSON array and again JSON object. So here I am having multiple kind of nested JSON objects. So inside one JSON object I am having another object, I am having another object. So it is like that. If I am going to the another example, this is again little simple. JSON object followed by JSON array, JSON object, JSON object and JSON array. So it is like this kind of hierarchy is there, and this is little complex. So if I am going to this JSON object, so I can see it is starting with the JSON object followed by JSON array. So this is my JSON array. Inside this, so search result. So this is my search result. Inside search result, I am having three different JSON objects. So this is my first product, this is second product, and this will be my third product. So inside each product, if I am going to elaborate this, expand this, I can see here this is my key and value page. So key and value again in question mark. So I have another JSON object. So question mark having three different JSON object. So it is started with the three values. So first is 1401. This one is 1401 followed by key. Inside key I am having as a JSON object. 8911 for I am having value as a JSON object. So this is little complex one. If I am going to another one, so what I am using the same JSON, but I have made it little complex. So in last section what I did, yeah, so in this JSON I have only two keys and value JSON object, but I am inside the key also. This key I have added one more JSON object, and inside to make more complex I have added JSON key, JSON object. So we are going to deal with all these types of JSON, and we will learn how to parse these types of JSON. So first what I am going to do, I am going to create one static method, get key. So our main object is to get the key of the JSON file. So here my input will be JSON object. So whatever JSON as a response I am getting, I am going to use as a JSON object as my key, and I am going to use JSON object. So this is my utility org.json object, json.json object, and so I am going to pass value as a key, and I am going to create a main method. So in main method I have to pass any JSON. So first we are starting with simple JSON, so we'll able to understand. So this is my first JSON I am taking, and I am initialized as a string value, string, and I am calling this method get key method, and this method is accepting JSON object. So first what I have to do, I have to convert my string into a JSON. JSON object input JSON object is equal to new JSON and input as a this my input JSON. So this way I can convert my string to JSON. First thing we are going to check in our JSON, so whatever value we are going to use this JSON, so my key will be outer way. In outer side we have four keys: claim, loose type, CD, claim type, claim reason and policy number. So first we are going to check if JSON is having this particular key or not. JSON dot has key, has key. So first we are going to check JSON is having a key or not. If JSON is having the key, then we are storing a value as a boolean exist. So if key is exist, then we can store as a boolean value, and if it is exist, then based on this we are going to perform two operations. If not exist. First one is not exist. If not exist, then we are going to perform some operation. Else we are going to just print that value. If it is available, then we are going to print that value. To print that value, I am going to create one more method, which is public static, again static method, public static void parse object. So I will be having a object, so that's why I am giving a name as a JSON object, and input will be this, input will remain same. So I am going to use this input, and I am going to parse this JSON. So simply I am going to print that value because this JSON is having that value. So I am gonna print this value, and I have to call this method here, JSON and key. That's it. So if I am going to simply I am going to run this class, and I am going for this one claim reason, it will print the data. And to print that, we can do one more thing, to JSON dot get the value. So we will get value as well. So if I am going to run this, we will get the value as well. So our value is 0 1 1. But if I am going to use country, then it will fail. So simple thing will not work here. It will fail because it goes inside the exist part, and here we don't have any such code, so it will fail. So our objective is to get the value. So I am removing this line. Now our logic starts from here. Now what I am going to do, I am going to initialize the iterator here. So this is again one more concept why in diamond bracket I am using the question mark. You have to understand this is the generic concept, and I am going to initialize one more variable, which is string next key. So I am storing multiple values inside the keys. So this will be my next tree. Now first thing I am going to check is just if keys is having the JSON. So JSON dot key is equal to the keys. So first whatever value we are going to store, we are going to store inside this keys. So first I am going to check this one, this condition. If this condition satisfies, then we are going to iterate over the JSON keys. So let's say I am going for claim type, and so first I will check with this one, then I will check with this one, like that I am going to iterate. The while keys dot as next, I am going to iterate over this, and I am going to store as a next key. So it will show I have to cast as a string value. So whatever keys I am getting, I am casting into a string, and I am storing inside the next key. So whatever next keys I am using, I am going to store it. So what I am doing, first I am checking if it is null, then I am going inside that and using that keys, all the values I am going to store inside this iterator first, then I am iterating over all the keys. So it will go inside first key, second key, third key, and fourth key, like that it will go. And then what I am doing, the key I am storing into the next key. So first key I am storing into the next key, and on top of that I am going to perform some operation. So first I am putting inside I am writing my code inside my try catch block, and JSON dot get next key. Important concept comes here. So what I am going to do, if this key consists of value as a JSON object or JSON array. So first I have to check this key consists JSON key or JSON array or JSON object. So I am going to write JSON dot get next string next keys instance of JSON object, instance of JSON object, and I'll write some code here. And in else condition, what I'm going to do, else if it is a JSON array, if JSON dot get next key instance of JSON array, then I'm going to perform another operation. So first I'm checking it is value is available, and then I'm going to check if it is JSON object or it is JSON array. So if it is JSON object, then I am going to perform this operation, otherwise I am going to perform else operation. So this is first thing. Now we are going to write some condition in if my key has JSON object. If it exists is equal to true, is equal to false. If this value exists is equal to false. Inside also that it is not available. Then I am going to make one recursive call, and I am going to call this method. So get key, and again I am going to use this method. So here this time I am going to pass my next key, and inside here what I am going to do, JSON dot get JSON object, and I have to pass next key. So this will be my next key, and this will be actual key. So inside this key, whatever key I am storing inside this key, this whatever value I am going to find, that value is available or not. So here I am going to make recursive call, and we are going to check. So if I am run for this code, it will work. So first let me run this country. So it will print US. So it is going to print is US. So like this it will work. So we are satisfied now. If we are going to iterate through entire JSON object, then it will work. Now we have to deal with JSON array inside JSON object. So dynamic part or nested JSON, pure nested JSON object we have handled. Now we have to handle this kind of situation. The last one, whatever we have used, this kind of situation we have to handle it. Don't worry, we will going to debug this code and we'll understand line by line how it works. So you need to explore recursive code as well, how recursive code work. So now what I'm going to do, if it is instance of JSON array, then we have to perform some more operations. So first thing is, if it is JSON object, then using this next key we have to convert into a JSON array. So we can write JSON array is equal to JSON dot get JSON array, and we have to pass our next string. So using this value we can convert into string, and then again we can loop through and we'll get one by one values. So for this will be my simple for loop. So for int I is equal to 0, there is nothing is a rocket science, it is simple way. I is equal to 0, array dot length. So we are iterating up to array dot length, JSON array dot length, and I plus plus. So this will be my first object. Yeah, so this is country key. It is having one object. So we have to iterate like this. If it is having two objects, then it will be like this. It will be like this. One object, inside it is having another object. So we are going to do for that. So first I am going to get the value. So JSON array dot get first element, JSON array dot get array of I. So I'm going to get my first element, and then I'm converting into toString method. So it will be converted into string, and I'm storing as a string value. So this will be my JSON array string, and reference type will be string value. So using string, again I am going to check if it is JSON object or not. If it is simply plain string, then I can simply print. Otherwise I have to check if it is again JSON object. So again I have to go through this code. This is my string. Again I am going to convert into JSON object. So this is, again I am going to use this line I am putting here, and instead of this input, this will be my JSON input string, and this will be my inner JSON. This will be my inner JSON, and inside the inner JSON if it is false, then I am going to make one more recursive call. And here it is very important thing what you are going to pass. So JSON key, inside the inner JSON you have to pass inner JSON, and key will be your not next key, just this key you have to pass here. So I am going to pass this key. Now your code is done. So this is how, using this code, you can parse all the types of the JSON. Now let me going to run this, and we are going to test with multiple values. So now I am going to take with this first my JSON. So this is my first JSON, and inside this string I am going to use this my first JSON. So this is my first JSON, and what we are going to do, first we are going to validate the ID. So let's say I am taking example of ID. So my here I am going to pass ID and I am going to run my code. Yes, so I am getting 1 and 2. So my ID value is 1 and 2. Let's say I am going to take example of name. So let's say I am going to take a name, key as a name, and let me run my code. Yes, I'm going 3 name, 1 cup ice, 1 baked beans and 1 ice cup. So again 1 cup ice, 1 baked beans and 1 ice cup. So whatever value we can take. Let's say I'm going to take a category. Category run as Java application and again run. Mill and mill. So both the categories having the same value. So that's why we are getting two values. So we have already tested this JSON. Now we are going to use this JSON. Let me remove this. Inside this I am using this, and we are going to value attribute 2. So it will print 2 times value 2. Yes, we are getting 2 times value 2, and we are going to use now complex one. So let's say this is my complex JSON. I am putting here as a string. We are going to validate the value of, let's say, first value, which is status. So it will print OK. So we are getting OK. Now we are going to here, first we are going to get a question mark. So question mark, we will get this enter value, this value, because this is the key of the question mark. If I am going to use this, run as a Java application, yes, because the question mark key consists value as a another JSON object. So that's why we are getting this value. This is first one, this is second one, and from here it is third one. Like this it will work. But if you are going to get count value or this value, so if this value, again it is going to print this entire JSON object. But if you are going to get a count, so let's say your JSON is like different student application or some employee tree like that, and you want to get the phone number of each employee, so you can get the phone number. Let's say this count will be your phone number, so you can print easily count. I'm going to run my code. Yes, so I'm getting this count 8911. This is my first count 8911, 141, 141, 379. So we have 379, 845, 12383, 379, 845, 12383. So all this count is printing. Now let's say this is, I have added one more. Inside this, as discussed, I have added JSON array. Inside again I have added one more JSON object, and this is unique key. So let's say I am going to add this one. Before that, let's say I am going to update this key value. Let's say I am going to update as a Fundu tester, and I am going to use this. So let me remove this, and I am going to grab this value. So it will give me pass string. It will give me pass. Yes, pass. We are getting the same value. So whatever. So how it is going? It is going inside the first JSON array, inside the JSON object, inside JSON. Sorry, this is my JSON array, JSON object, inside JSON array, JSON object, JSON object, JSON object, and here it is coming in this JSON object. It is coming here, this one. So it is again JSON array, JSON object, and whatever value. So whatever iteration or how many times it is looping through, our code is work. Now important part is, I understand there are some confusions here. So in this part we can have some confusion why I am going to use recursive code here. So again I am going to call this method. This method is going to call this method. So how it will work? So let's debug this code and we'll understand. So after that you will have fair idea. for understanding purpose, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use EasyJSON, so we can easily understand, we can easily grasp the thing. So I'm going to validate a attribute 1 inside this JSON, and I'm going inside the debugging mode. So I want to put my breakpoint. First will be here if condition, this else condition, and what it is going to do here. And how this line also works. So we'll loop through, and let me debug my code. I have to switch to debug mode. This is my debug mode. And it has created here first stack here. So this concept you have to understand very deeply. If you are not followed this, then you cannot understand the code. So first, whenever I am going to execute this code, my first breakpoint is here. So it comes here, directly it comes here. And what it is saying, the boolean value. So exist, it is false, because outer array attribute 1 is not available outer the array. So first it will check outside, because outside we have only one key, which is my object. So we don't have value. So our JSON is, this is my JSON. If I'm going to inside the map, so it is internally stored as a map, because it is key and value pair. If you are not able to understand what is map, then in card left corner you can find the video which is how map works, how HashMap works internally. You can watch that video. So it is stored as a key and value pair. So here my key is this, key value is 31. So this is my key and this is my value. This is my value. And here we are going to fetch a key as a attr1, and exist it is showing false. So it has created one HashMap value, and in next key it is stored this object, which is my object. So in outer JSON I have only one value. So what it will do, let's say I am going to do step over. So it is simply, it is going inside the JSON. Sorry, it is not a JSON object. So it is, this condition is not satisfied. So it is going inside another else if condition. Let me do again step over. So again this condition is also, this condition also not satisfied. So it is again going to create one more thread here. So you can see here, you can, if you are following this, earlier it was 2, now it becomes 3. So we are going to perform operation on this. If we are going on this operation, we are here only. Now we have created this method is called recursive function. This method is again called this value, and in this take value our JSON is full, we have full JSON, but it splitted our JSON into smaller piece. So if I'm going to this tag, you can see here my JSON value has starting from the code. So now it is splitted from here. So in this JSON also, so first one we had this one, now we have this JSON object. Got it? Now what it will do, it will again going to perform the same iteration. So let's I'll continue, then it will split inside the one more JSON. So again it has created one more stack, and now my JSON will be little bit more shorter. So it has again started from this one. So now I have only this value, this 3 value. In this stack I am having only these 3 values. So now I will get the, in this iteration I will get the value of our value we are going to get, which is, so that's why I am here, and it will print the value. So if I am going to do, I'll get value 1, and next iteration this stack work is done. So this stack will remove. So if I do again step return, so yeah, so this is gone. Now we are going to perform operation on this stack. So this stack again we came here, it will go inside, it is getting the value, and our string value is, again if we run this code, so our string value will be this, our string value. So again we are performing the operation on this one. because we have performed the operation here. Let's say first time we are here and then we directly went here, then we are going here. So we have to check if I have one JSON object here, now followed by, let's say I have another JSON object. So how it works? So that's why there are multiple stakes are created, and we have to complete the iteration in all the stakes. So this is how recursive code works. So now again it is going to check the condition and again it is going to get a key. So in this iteration, so this condition is satisfied. So now my inner JSON, my JSON is this one, so which is value 2. This is for this one, and we are getting one more value. So it is again going to call this method, and we came here. So like this we are getting again value 2. And again for this stake also it is going to perform the same repetitive operation. And this is our final stake. So if we are coming out of this loop, then we will come here and our code is going to over. So now our iteration is stopped. If I am going forward, our iteration is stopped. It is showing disconnected. So that's why in this JSON we are getting 2 value. So don't worry guys, if you're still not able to understand the code, I'll push this code into the GitHub. You can download the code and you can understand the stuff and you can debug yourself. And still you are having the question, you can put in the inside the comment section. I will be happy to answer those. Thank you guys. Thanks for the watching the video.